Pandemic coronavirus. Pandemic coronavirus. Read my vaccine.
So, supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, and then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
Mr. Roberts, your 2-second warning.
Hello, magnificent iDrums. It's Thursday, November 26th, and we do warmly welcome you to this, the 17th edition of the Late Night Noisecast. Once again, doing what we can, and what we must, to ensure feasts of reason, flows of soul, and stolen moments of spoof noise in the long and generous cavity search that is the year 2020. On the show tonight, we're delighted to bring new adventures in Super Circle sound from singer, pianist, composer, arranger extraordinaire Fiona Ross, from long-standing legendary luminary, the Lord of Geordies, Mr. Chris Montague, and his outfit Warmer Than Blood, and for all you Rocketman movie fans out there, an interview with Kiki D herself, Rachel Muldoon, who stops virtually by to laugh, drink, and reminisce on the joys of days gone by. I begin tonight's episode as ever then with gratitude for all of your interactions across the Intertrouser, the TubeU, the Bookface and such, and in particular for those of you who engaged with 12th Peer's #Rocketman Cluedo campaign to guess the identity of this evening's Rocketman-based guest. As I understand it, there was a clear winner for said campaign, but not a clear prize. So I'm delighted to announce now that I will present you in the following segment with some sort of an award as such for your sterling efforts in this regard. I understand that you're called Blodwyn Campervan. Of course, this victory should come as no surprise to you, given that with a name like Blodwyn Campervan, you are guaranteed success in all you wish to undertake. But for everyone else, please look away now. This next sequence is purely for the benefit of Blodwyn Campervan. Well done, Blodwyn Campervan. Moving on now then to our first music entry of the evening and a new addition to the Super Circle, Fiona Ross, her wonderful band, about whom more after we hear her spectacular track, Too Many Thoughts.
We walked along and we almost held hands. I didn't need that, I thought that we felt the same way. What a fool I was to feel that way. You made me laugh and you made me feel comfortable. Now I'm just sad and so completely miserable. You made me feel I was Now I've never felt more alone. I thought you were this, thought you were that, thought you were everything to me. Thought you were there, thought that you cared, and that meant everything to me. But it turned out that you didn't mean what you said. It turned out that you were just like the rest. I was already lost and I needed to be found this time. I fought it so long I gave up eventually, only 'cause you made me feel that you wanted me. What a fool I was to feel that way. You made me laugh and you made me feel comfortable. Now I'm just sad and so completely miserable. You made me feel I was home. Now I've never felt more alone. I thought you were this, thought you were that, thought you were everything to me. Thought you were there, thought that you cared, and that meant everything to me. But it turned out that you didn't mean what you said, yes. Turned out that you were just like the rest. I was already lost, and I needed to be found this time. Why'd you let me get so close? You know the risks I told you. Everything about me. Everything about me. You know how fragile I was. You know I couldn't take any more misery. But that you knew me. What I ever do to you, I only ever treated you with respect I thought you were. Turned out you didn't deserve. I wanted you to want me. I wanted you to love me. Can't you do that for me? Wanted you to save me. Thought you were this, thought you were that, thought you were there, thought that you cared. Too many thoughts, too many thoughts. Thought you were this, thought you were that, thought you were there, thought that you cared. Too many thoughts, too many thoughts. I thought you were this, thought you were that, thought you were there, thought that you cared. Thought you were mine, you wasted my time. Thought you knew me, how to trust me. Thought you were true, but you made me stand and live. Shit blue, 'cause that was too many thoughts going on in my mind.
Fiona Ross there, her wonderful band and her wonderful tune, Too Many Thoughts. Fiona is someone who I've come across thanks to her interactions with the Late Night Noisecast and with 12th Pier, and enormously to the benefit as such. I look forward to much more noise and interaction from her in future, and indeed I strongly recommend that you go check out her handsomely attended YouTube channel at your earliest possible convenience. So what's going on? Well, I of course note tonight that it's Thanksgiving, so may I take this opportunity to wish a very happy Thanksgiving to all my friends and colleagues on the American side, be that in music, film, or politics. I see also this week that Vic Bain's fantastic initiative, the F List, has launched. And 12th Pier will be engaging with that and developing some things as we move along in the coming months. I note that many of you who follow 12th Pier have also become a part of that wonderful initiative, and I look forward to interacting as such. Moving somewhat excitably on now then, given how much we have to get through tonight, and here to our second music feature. Chris Montague, for those former fans of the Late Night Noisecast, will need no introduction. This is his new outfit, Warmer Than Blood, featuring Ruth Goller and Kit Downs. And I'm delighted to bring a live performance from them at the Cockpit Theatre last year to your tender mercies and attentions this evening. This is FTM. FTM there from Warmer Than Blood, Ruth Goller on bass, Kit Downs on keys, and of course, my dear friend Chris Montague on guitar. I reflect this evening and bring this track to your attention as a result of remembering the halcyon happy days at Pizza on the Park, a wonderful jazz room that was quite spectacular to sing in. For those of you in the jazz singing community checking this out, I'm sure you will agree. And probably the last time that I managed to get the ever in demand Mr. Montague and Mr. Downs together for a performance some 12 years ago there. So I thought I'd revisit that for noise sake, as it were. Interview time now then, and some 2+ years ago, I had the great privilege of being the vocal and piano coach for Taron Egerton, or Egerton, depending on which side of the YouTube commenters' civil war you come down upon, and indeed the full cast of the Paramount picture ROCKETMAN, under the direction of the supreme Dexter Fletcher. One of the luminaries that I worked with on that picture was, of course, Rachel Muldoon, who played Kiki D, and I'm delighted to say that she joins us on the Noisecast now. Rachel Muldoon, as I live and breathe, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Glorious to be back in your presence. I was trying to work out how long it had been. I reckon it's about two and something years since we first found ourselves in a small box room at either Abbey Road or Ayr. What's been going on since?
What's been going on since? Well, I had a little person then, didn't I, who was very, very tiny.
You did
10
indeed.
years old, so she's now almost 2.5, so you're pretty spot on with your time range there. And yeah, the world's been a bit of a crazy place, hasn't it? So
Indeed.
a bit of good stuff, a bit of strange stuff, and all in between. But yeah,
Absolutely.
life's good.
Speaking of good stuff, I understand you've prepared a glass for this evening's interview. What's happening in your glass?
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
You've got to get the finger to make it classy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was lacking the class from the start. So, being a Valley's boy, the little finger never went up. Yes. Oh dear. So we, of course, first met on the adventure that was ROCKETMAN. You, of course, played Kiki D in that movie. Let's begin with some reflections for you on perhaps getting the gig, joining the cast, and how the whole adventure started for you, please.
Okay, so I am primarily a dancer, and I was meant to be on the dance team, and the movie was meant to go ahead a little bit before than what it did, which you probably know as well. And then some things happened, things went a little bit wrong, and then another company picked it up, didn't they? And then we went again. But of course, by that point, I was heavily, heavily pregnant. So I could no longer dance, which I was pretty devastated about, actually. And then my lovely friend Adam Murray, who's the choreographer, who I would have been working with, he texted me. I was sat in Crouch End having pizza with my 5-week-old little girl and my husband, saying, "Do you think you could look like Kiki D?" I'm like, whoa. No, actually, let me have a Google.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, a quick Google, yeah.
Yeah, I think with the chin, maybe the cheekbones, there's something there. He said, "I'm going to submit you." I was like, oh my goodness me, okay. So he said, "Have you got any pictures of you with a bob?" I was like, I do actually, strange enough. I get put in those quite a lot. So sent it all through. Then they said, "Can you come audition?" And I said no, because if anyone listening to this has had a baby, you know at about 5-6 weeks in, you are in no fine shape to come in to do an audition, not in the right head shape, not had a night's sleep. So I said no, and they said, "Well, can you do a self-tape?" Which actually was probably even worse. I should have just gone in. So I believe she was you could hear her crying on my tape.
Excellent. True ethos in the mix, yeah.
But I submitted it, and it happened. It came through. So yeah, that was how the job came about for me.
Wonderful.
And I ended up being part of it in some way, and if in some ways, maybe in a better way.
I was going to say it, yeah, in a fantastic way, and one of those classic stories, I think, of how what initially might have seemed like a missed opportunity became the infinitely better one as a result of
probably my biggest opportunity of my entire career, I think.
Circumstance and fate in your favor.
Yeah, madness.
One of the funny things for me in those early days of ROCKETMAN is obviously I'd been working with Taron, and then piece by piece, a new name would come my way in terms of as cast vocal or cast piano coach, and so I distinctly remember the moment when it's like, okay, Kiki D, and it was a sort of a fast a fast turnaround for Don't Go Breaking My Heart, and it's like, okay, you're meeting Rachel upstairs at Abbey Road in 2 hours' time. We're going to drive you from Windsor into central London, and Kiki D, please, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, go. Your recollections of that first day singing, please.
Petrifying.
Nah, I'm not having it.
Yeah, but you were just lovely and so warm and friendly with those lovely Welsh dulcet tones. So it was just lovely. And if you've ever heard this man sing, it's glorious. So that was nice.
Don't go breaking my heart. Yes.
And I think we did just laugh our way through the entire rehearsal period. So that was it was really good. It was a joy.
Absolutely.
So it took the fear away. I think we had an initial rehearsal, and that was just to check that I could sing in tune, basically. I think that there was something there that you could work with. And then we had a rehearsal for a few hours before we recorded.
We were in the Giles Martin constructed temporary booth.
Yes. Yes, it was a quick turnaround. And then shoot the next day after that, I think, or 2 days after.
Of course, yeah. So we were on set in the studio where Elton records your song, and also then the famous turning camera for Kiki and Elton, as it were. Talk me through your experience that day on set, and the sort of combination of a heavy hand of history and also making it your own, as you so clearly and wonderfully did.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was exciting and scary and pressure in a way, but then Dex was brilliant. He kind of just wanted you to still make it your own. The thing that threw me a little was, obviously, if you watch the video, she's quite reserved and quite shy in the beginning, and it looks like Elton's the real driving force. But then if you look back in the history, it was his first #1 in the UK, wasn't it? And I think Kiki was actually, she was bigger than he was at the time in the country. So that was Dex then trying to instill that in me, to say, actually, you're the one that's lifting him.
Yes.
So you're kind of level at the time, which then was a strange shift to try and find that, because it's so, to me, it's really evident her kind of drawback in the beginning and her unsure, she's a bit awkward and stuff like that, and then she gets to that level in the end. Yeah, but it was madness. Like, being a dancer, you normally rehearse stuff to death, really. You know everything inside out, and you've tried it so many times, you've had time to make it your own, make mistakes, change bits, all this kind of stuff. And with that, it was like, hi, this is Taron, nice to meet you, and then let's just run it through once. And it was like, great, rolling, let's go. I was like, oh my gosh. But it actually, probably it's better like that, because you don't have time to overthink. You've just got to got to do it.
Yeah, of the sort of there's so much sense of humor with Dexter that makes everyone at ease and makes everything flow as it should, in terms of that you're not you're never really feeling under pressure, but there's also that sense of timing with him, insofar as when it's right to let something gestate for a while until it starts to make sense, and when it's right to just capture what he's seeing through the lens, as it were. Talk a little bit about being directed by Dexter, further to what you were saying there, please.
He's just fantastic. Like even just his voice, isn't it? It's brilliant. Like he's such a little character in himself. He has been in front of the camera lots, but he's just brilliant and so fun. And yeah, there was nothing. It was intense because it's quick and you've got to get these things done. You've got to get it right, but you didn't feel the pressure from him. He still gave you space to try again, or try this, or try that, and it was nice to kind of talk things through and have a little brief chat about what it could be, or trying to put different ad-libs in there to see, because I didn't know I had lines. I didn't have lines. I just had to learn the song. And then on the day, it was kind of like just improvising and putting little bits here and there, which I was like, oh my goodness me, I don't know what I'm doing.
I beg to differ. Your looks and wry smiles and laughs are some of the best material in there.
Like, even the little look back and Richard Madden, because he's hot, so that wasn't meant to happen, and it just kind of came, and then he was just like, yes, brilliant, let's go with that, let's do more, but then do more, but do it a little bit less. It was great. It was, and it was the way they actually shot it on the day. They did it in a round, the whole way round, you remember?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, it got edited down and lots of different shots in there, but when you saw an entire shot just going round and round, it was really beautiful.
It really was. Yeah, that was just watching that in the mix after the intensity of the work we'd put in, and then just seeing that swing round was glorious. You're of course on the record that was subsequently released, the official soundtrack to the film. Tell us about that. Tell us your experiences and thoughts therein, please.
So that was pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
I think one of my proudest moments was driving in the car, and it popped on Radio 2, and my name pops up in my car. It's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing to you can put my name in iTunes and it comes up. I never thought that would ever be something that I would achieve in my life, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Awesome. I hate listening to it, I must admit.
I can't accept. I can't accept such comments.
Because it plays in the credits as well. Yeah. A fuller version at the end. So that's nice when people have hung around long enough that they realise that was us. And I remember actually going to watch it and being sat there at the end and being like, oh my gosh, it's Don't Go Breaking My Heart. I was like, oh, I bet they'll do the original. And then of course when you hear Town, I was like, oh my god, it's me.
I remember obviously seeing Rocketman, and then every time I went to the cinema thereafter, when you're walking down the corridor with multiple screens, Rocketman would always be playing in at least one of them, irrespective of what time of day it was. And it always seemed to be the credit sequence, and it always seemed to be Don't Go Breaking My Heart that was blasting out of the door as they were letting people out. It's, Too good. So I understand you then moved into, obviously we mentioned Adam Murray, and I think you carried on working with him to some extent in this mix, moving into some Disney adventures in terms of Mary Poppins Returns and the forthcoming Cruella. Tell me a bit about your involvement therein, please.
So Mary Poppins Returns wasn't with Adam, that was with another choreographer. It was Rob Marshall and his lovely team, Joe and Tara, and that was the girls' part, we were flamingos, and I was a stork and a hippo. It was all green screen, which is rather a strange experience.
Was it your first in green screen, or?
Yeah, and then when you see the film and you see how quick it is, what you did, you think, oh my goodness, it's crazy the amount of work that goes into it, and then it may be just a couple of teeny tiny seconds that you've actually produced the work for.
Yeah.
But that was really cool and a big kind of tick list moment for a Disney film.
Absolutely.
And then I got to do another one with Mr. Adam Murray that time, and that was Cruella, which I believe is due out next year.
Right.
And it's You See Me This Time. It's live action, that one, so it's not. I'm not an animated character, so which is nice as well. Sometimes it's better for your parents and your grandparents because at least they say, "Oh, I saw you." But yeah, I don't think I can give too much away with that
I understand.
one. But it's cool. It's more dark and punky, so it's a completely different flip to Mary Poppins.
Absolutely, yeah. I still, hell of a thing to be an animated character in the Mary Poppins saga. We've been interviewing various people who have worked with Laura Marling on this show, and I think I spotted that you were in a video, in a short film of hers. Could you tell me about that, please?
I was in her video for Soothing. And I met Laura for the audition, and then she was there as well on the video day, and it was bizarre. It was in this beautiful big house near Hammersmith, and they made this corridor, like covered it in all these fake trees and leaves, and we had like these pieces of fabric going down through the corridor, and the guy that I was working with, we just had to improvise really. The choreographer was Alexandra Green, and she was there giving us kind of guidance on where to go and stuff like that, but it was quite a organic, as she would say, experience. But that was a couple of years ago now as well. Yeah, and Laura's lovely. Her music's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's her bassist and sometimes string arranger Nick Peeney is one of my best friends, and so he's been on this show, and we've featured music from Laura. So yeah.
World.
Indeed. Tell us all about what you have going on at the moment in these quote unquote unprecedented times, and where people can check you out and indeed join in various activities that you are holding together.
So on the artistic front, anything that's kind of come about has been postponed or pushed. So that's it's been a bit of a disappointing year on that front, to be honest, but I think it's almost across the board for everybody within this industry.
Yeah.
And then what's kept me going is I teach Pilates, which I trained for. I broke my foot doing Cats about 10 years ago, the musical, and I thought, oh gosh, what can I do to make this a positive situation? So I trained to be a Pilates teacher, and thank goodness, if I'd have had my crystal ball back then, I would have thought, yes, this is the right thing to be doing. So thank goodness I have, because it's carried me through this unsure time. So I teach online at a few studios. There's one called Beyond Move and another one called Fit Club Studios, if anyone wants to join in.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll put links below for sure, yeah.
A re-energize, a release and whatnot, and then I teach a dance class as well at Fit Club Studios just before the Pilates class. So, and that's really fun. It's not Zumba, but it's my own kind of style of doing it, with quite a broad spectrum of music from kind of 50s up to the present. So we go through quite a few different styles, but it's a really good laugh. And you can just have a giggle and have a boogie and get fit at the same time. So it's good. So that's my life at the minute, and fingers crossed that things start to pick up again next year, because I do miss it terribly, as I know most people are doing.
Rachel Muldoon there, drinking fine beer and sharing in fine cheer, and on glorious form as ever. My thanks to her, not only for taking the time to talk with us this evening, but also to the ceaseless hilarity she brought to our time professionally together. My thanks also, of course, this evening to Fiona Ross and to Warmer Than Blood, and most importantly, to you glorious people for watching. Until next Thursday then, I'm Michael L. Roberts. Good luck, stay legendary, and ever onward to you all.